Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Occupational Health and Safety Program information session. We are glad to have you here. My name is Allison Morris, and I am the program manager for our Occupational Health and Safety Program, as well as our Workplace Health and Safety Manager certificate. Also on the call today, we have Hannah Moore, our program assistant, who will be helping with the presentation and Q&A at the end of the webinar. Monica Jackson, our program director, may or may not be joining us at some point as well, so we will just have to wait and see. Jerry Colivas is also on the call today. He's the instructor for our emergency preparation and management course that we offer here at UC Davis Continuing and Professional Education, also referred to as CPE. A little later on the webinar, we will get to have a conversation with him and hear about his experience in the field, as well as his upcoming course. So on today's webinar, we will have a brief introduction to CPE and go over our mission and history. And then we'll go over some specifics of the Occupational Health and Safety Program, as well as our Workplace Health and Safety Manager certificate. As I mentioned, we will talk with the wonderful Jerry about his upcoming course, and then we will have some time for Q&A at the end. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to hold those. You can also drop them in the chat as we go along. So let's get started today with a quick icebreaker poll, just for fun before jumping into the information. Would you rather never hit a red light again or never have to wait in line for anything again? Take a second to go ahead and answer that poll. Oh, it's pretty close, but it looks like the majority of us would not want to wait in line again. That was my answer as well. Okay, let's get going here. So for those of you who are new to UC Davis Division of Continuing and Professional Education, I wanted to share with you our mission. We believe that professional education plays a vital role in building our economy, improving our community, and enriching the lives of the students that we serve. We are passionate about sharing the resources, expertise, and knowledge of UC Davis with working professionals and other adult learners around the world. And we are committed to providing adult learners with access to the right education in the right format at the right time throughout their careers and lives. We have been providing quality continuing education programs for more than 60 years with more than 62,000 annual enrollments, 6,200 annual enrollments. We serve the students locally and nationwide with enrollments from all 50 states and over 100 countries. Through UC Davis CPE, we offer courses both in person and online in subjects like business, occupational health and safety, land use, human resources, winemaking, and more. We offer one-off courses as well as certificate programs that are tailored to adult learners. We also offer customized training for organizations. So just out of curiosity, how many of you have taken a course with UC Davis CPE before? Please take a moment to answer this quick poll. It looks like we have a lot of students who are joining us for the first time today, which is very exciting. Whether you have taken a course with us before or not, we're really glad to have you here with us today. And we do hope that this information is going to be valuable to you. Before you get signed up, there are options for educational loans and training funds. Our Student Services Office is able to answer your questions should you be looking into one of those options. You can reach out to them through their general email address, which you can see on the screen, and I will go ahead and drop that in the chat box later. Or you can call them directly. Their phone number is 530-757-877. There is also a page on our website for financing your education that can provide all the details for the information as well if you prefer to read that online. We do offer discounts for our courses as well. You can learn more about those on our website, but I'll go ahead and highlight a few for you guys now. Members of the Cal Aggie Alumni Association enjoy $50 off our courses, and this reciprocal benefit extends to members of all UC alumni associations. Our professional partners receive a 10% off discount, and my personal favorite, groups of 3 or more enrolling in the same class at the same time with the same credit card also receive a 10% discount off of their enrollment. And as a special thank you for attending today's live session, you will receive a follow-up email with a coupon for a $100 off of your first course with CPE. Now, before we get started into the specific details of our occupational health and safety program, we are going to open up another quick poll. Please tell us a little bit about why you are interested in our program and what brings you here today. Please take a moment to answer that poll. Seems like we have a lot of current workplace safety managers or people who are interested in becoming a safety manager. Okay, wonderful, thank you. So first, I would like to discuss what you can do with an occupational and environmental health education for those who may not know. This type of education provides students with a strong scientific background in hazard identification of chemical and physical agents, toxicity assessment, exposure assessment, risk characterization, risk mitigation, and communication. These are concepts that are multidisciplinary and can be applied in the workplace in either community or consumer settings. Many of the courses we offer count towards REHS hours and are certifiable units through the Board of Certified Safety Professionals. For more information on specific courses and their credits, please reach out to me via email after the session or check out our website. I will be dropping my email in the chat box at the end of the webinar. Our Occupational Health and Safety Program, which we also refer to as our OHS program, covers a variety of course subjects. In addition to courses that run on our Workplace Health and Safety Manager certificate, which I will talk about next, we also offer hazardous materials management courses like our 8-hour HAZWOPER refresher and our 24-hour HAZWOPER training. These courses do meet requirements established by OSHA for training under the Hazardous Waste Operations and Emergency Response Standards and the equivalent California standards. More information about that can be found in the course descriptions on our website. We also offer an array of one-off courses not on the certificate. For example, we have a new course running this summer, Introduction to Construction Safety, which will help students identify and mitigate exposures to occupational hazards and gain an introductory level knowledge of safety in the construction industry. I do want to clarify for anyone, anyone can take any of our courses. You do not need to be enrolled in the certificate program in order to take one of the courses offered on the certificate. If there is an individual course that you would like to take, please feel free to sign up. The Workplace Health and Safety Manager Certificate is a fully accredited program with academic units. There are 3- and 5-year paths, depending on what your needs are. By the end of the program, students will have completed 9 courses. All 9 courses are required in order to complete the certificate. The cost for the certificate is about $5,700, and you pay per course, meaning you pay as you go. It is not a one-time payment or a lump sum payment. So here's the list of the 9 required courses for the certificate program. As I mentioned earlier, Jerry, who is on the call today, instructs our emergency preparation and management course, which you can see on the screen. If you are interested in pursuing the certificate, it does not matter what course you start with. You can simply begin with the course that interests you or best fits your schedule. The courses can be taken in any order. Coming up next, we have our Industrial Safety Hazard Control online section, which starts on Monday. Our Ergonomics in the Workplace in-person section, it starts on April 6th. And our Health and Safety for Workers Laws and Regulations online section is starting on April 26th. And most of these courses, or all these courses, we try to offer 2 times a year, at least. So as mentioned previously, you can complete the certificate in 5 years, or you can follow our accelerated certificate path and complete it in 3 years. When you do this, you will receive your final course fee waived, and we will also cover your certificate application fee of $125. So the accelerated path is a great way to save yourself some money and time. The 3-year accelerated path option is only available to new students. So if you have taken 1 or more courses towards the certificate already, you would be required to cover the full cost of the program and pay the registration fee in order to receive your certificate. If you would like to complete the 3-year path, you will need to declare your intent by filling out a form prior to your first course start date, which can be found on our website on the Workplace Health and Safety Manager certificate page, which I will also drop a link to in the chat at the end. So currently, we are working to determine whether our certificate program will be offered fully in person or fully online in the future, and we would love your input on the matter. Please take a moment to answer this poll. Would you prefer if the certificate was offered entirely online or entirely in person? So it's looking like the majority of you are interested in the online option, but we do have a few who are interested in in-person classes as well. That's very interesting. Thank you so much for your responses. This will help me greatly in the future with scheduling courses for our certificate program. So now we're going to get into our Instructor Spotlight with Jerry. Jerry, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good afternoon.
Hi. Hi, Jerry. Can you tell us a little bit about your background in emergency management?
Sure, thank you. Well, you know, you see a lot of it up here on the screen. I spent, well, I guess I'm still working in emergency management. I do some volunteer work for Red Cross, and I do go to local government emergency operations centers and also to fire incident command posts during the summertime when we have fires, which unfortunately, you know, the last few years we've had a lot of fires. So sometimes I feel like I'm still working. But I spent a lot of years with California Office of Emergency Services and kind of rose through the ranks with them, and started out in planning and then did some regional work and was a training officer, and then became a manager. And as we got through 9/11 and a lot of money was being put into Homeland Security emergency services, I kind of got lured away from the city, or from the state by the city of Sacramento. And the last couple of years before I retired, I did work for the city of Sacramento and ran their joint office of emergency services and Homeland Security. And I, you know, I was fairly young when I retired because I was in public service, and so I went off and worked for FEMA for a few years. That got to be a little bit old, traveling all the time, and came back and worked for the governor's office on some special projects having to do with training volunteers to work during disasters and certifications and things like that. So I guess I've just kind of always done emergency management and been a part of the really, we have like 4 phases of emergency management. the preparedness phase, the operations phase, the mitigation phase, and also the recovery phase. And what I didn't add was I started out with the state of California, the California Department of Social Services, and we used to do the recovery program. So the first 7 years, I worked in recovery. So anyway, I've had the opportunity to do it all, I think, but I'm still learning.
Definitely. It's a lifelong process, right? But it sounds
Yeah.
like you've dipped your toes in the water in about every aspect you could. Can you tell us a little bit about how working in emergency management in California is different than working in other states?
Well, as we move forward, it's really getting to be there are at the federal. It used to be that in California was a little ahead of the curve, and because we had had so many disasters, especially down in Southern California with the wildfires, we decided that we really had to look at a unified system, how we approached emergency response. And so we looked at what's called the incident command system. And from there, we developed the standardized emergency management system. As the federal government, as I said, after 9/11, they were more engaged. They were looking at a system, and now we have what's called the National Incident Management System, or NIMS. And so other states have joined that. The one thing that's unique still about California is that so much of what happens as far as the response efforts and the recovery efforts happens at the local level. And so there's this group of people out there in cities and counties that are really driving what's going on. The state and the federal government support these efforts, but a lot of money is down at the local level. And now there's been a lot of interaction with a lot of businesses and a lot of groups that normally weren't players before. Obviously, the utilities have become very important, and they're a big player in California. They have a seat at the State Operations Center. So that's one thing. And then just big businesses in general, they have representatives looking at, warehouse distribution, food, other kinds of goods and services that are needed. So I think that's kind of what's unique about California is everybody's involved, whether it's private sector or public sector, and at all levels in the public sector, local, state, and federal.
Thank you, Jerry. Can you tell us a little bit about your upcoming course, emergency management preparation, or emergency preparation and management, and why it's important for students?
Sure. Yeah. When I first started teaching for UC Davis back in 2005, there was a big spotlight on emergency management and how the systems work. And a lot of people were trying to understand what was going on with the National Incident Management System. So that was the main focus. What's happened over the years is that we also understand that preparedness is such a important project for us, both personally, us and our families. If we're concerned about ourselves and our families, it's really hard for us to function. So we look at how can we be prepared as a family, as a person, and then also as somebody that works in a business or an organization, and how can that organization be prepared? Again, the better prepared you are, the better chance your organization has to survive a disaster, the better you're going to be at getting that business back off the ground. Business continuity planning, we talk about a little bit in our efforts. So we're going to hit how you and your family can be prepared, how your organization can be prepared, and then we really talk about emergency management. And I do talk a little bit about kind of like the history of emergency management. How do we get to where we're at today, and what were some of the milestones? And then a little bit about the terminology. Sometimes people get a little, caught up in terminology. They, especially, scientists, floodplain managers, meteorologists, earthquake seismologists like to use a lot of jargon, and hopefully I help break down some of that. What's an F3 tornado? What does that really mean? I think a lot of people know what what maybe the various hurricanes and their force, but what does all that mean? So I try to break that down. And then really the biggest part of it is, how do we all work together to bring this chaos that's happening in the middle of a disaster? How do we work together to figure out how to make order out of this chaos? So, how do you actually work together within your organization? And then how does your organization interact with the first responders, with emergency managers, with people coming in to help, with the supplies and logistics that you need? So that's really kind of what it's about.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry. And thank you so much again for joining us today. I do have one last question for you. You touched on this a little bit in your previous answer, but who would benefit most from taking your class? What type of student?
Well, over the years, we've had all kinds of folks that have taken this course. Obviously, the people that are looking for the health and safety certificate, it's really a good class for them. Obviously, they need it, but I get people coming in, and I know a little bit about fire and safety, and I know about hazmat and emergency management, but I don't know about ergonomics and some of the other courses that people take, and so I think there's a great pollination in the class, and so that's good. And then I've had people that were just graduated from UC Davis wanting to take a look at what I might like emergency management, and so we've had people like that taking the class. And then a lot of people that, health and safety people, whether they've got a certificate or don't have a certificate, they get plugged into that emergency management role in their organization, or they can. And for them to get know what it's about, understand where the resources are, where they can get their resources. I think I've seen a lot of people taking the class just so they understand the resources that are available to them. So again, anybody I think can benefit from the class. Just the personal preparedness part is certainly worth it, I think, for people and businesses.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much, Jerry, for taking the time out of your busy day to be here. I know you have a full schedule, so we really appreciate all the time that you dedicate
Great.
to our program.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. And if any of you are interested in signing up for Jerry's upcoming emergency management course, I will drop the link to sign up in the chat shortly. Jerry's course is going to be running online this spring from May 3rd to May 6th, with live Zoom sessions on May 4th and May 5th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. So now I'm going to open up the floor to some questions. We will be able to hear questions, answer your questions along with our program assistant, Hannah Moore. Additionally, if you have any questions you would like to ask Jerry about his course, please feel free to drop those in the chat box as well. You can ask questions through the Q&A option or through the chat box, and then we'll get started with those in just a moment. So we have a question from Natalia. How long do classes usually take to complete? So when we offer courses that we call one-day courses, which generally run online for 3 days and have one live session. And we offer courses that are 2 days, 3 days, or 4 days. Our longest course runs for about a week and has 4 live sessions. I believe that's our industrial safety hazard control course. But it can take anywhere from about 3 days online to 7 days online. And if we're offering classes in person, they run for a full day, 1 day or 2 days in person.
And to answer the question about the ergonomics course and whether it covers manufacturing ergonomics, that particular course does cover more home office related ergonomics and not industrial ergonomics.
We have another question in the chat. Do you offer afternoon class sessions? So the majority of our online sessions we do usually offer in the afternoon. Occasionally, there will be some classes that are offered in the morning for our online classes, but all the information can be found about that on our website. If you click on the class description, it will show the days that the class is going to be open for online, as well as the hours of the live session, so you can sort of fit that into your schedule. And if one offering doesn't work for you, like I mentioned earlier, we do generally offer the courses at least twice a year, so you can always sign up for the next offering as well. So we do have a question about the ergonomics certificate. Currently, we are not planning on offering the ergonomics certificate again. If that is something that you are interested in, you can email me about that directly, and I would be happy to notify you if anything about that changes. But we are offering just the ergonomics in the workplace course right now.
So there's a question about if FAFSA covers certain fees. My understanding is with our financing for courses, we do not accept FAFSA. That's my understanding, but you can reach out to our student services office in regards to ways that you can finance your education, and they are better able to give you the details of what different kind of funding is available.
I will be dropping the student services information in the chat box in a moment as well. How do we have a question, how do we obtain the application form to register? So if you are referring to registering for particular courses, what you can do is you can go online to register. There will be a link on the course description page to register for the class, or you can call our student services team directly. If you are referring to registering or for intent to complete the certificate, that can also be found on our certificate page on our website, and I will drop the link in the chat for that as well if you're interested in filling out that form. Are there any more questions about the OHS program or Occupational Health and Safety Workplace Manager Certificate? Again, if you think of questions later on, I am going to be dropping my email in the chat box. Oh, we have one more question. Are there additional fees for books or other materials for the course? No, there are not going to be additional fees. We're going to be providing you with the materials that you need, the readings, and if there are materials that you need for the course, we will be providing those for you as well. So it's built into the course fee.
So we've got another question that's just come in. It is, do you take payment plans for the courses offered? Unfortunately, we do not do any kind of payment plan. Payment is due at the time of registration, and it is for the full course fee per course. As Allison had mentioned earlier, you can sign up for just one course and such, so it's not something where you would need to pay for the entire certificate courses, all the courses at once. So it'd be per course.
Okay, if there are no more, oh, here we go. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Deborah. So if there are no more questions, I'm going to move forward now. Okay. So we are going to run one last poll before sharing our contact information with you all. So please take a moment to answer this. What is your next step? Are you ready to enroll? Do you need some more time to think? Are you not sure these programs fit your needs, or do you still have some lingering questions? So it seems like a lot of you still need some time to think and still have some lingering questions. If you still need some time to think, we totally understand it is a big decision, but please do let us know if any questions come up for you. And if you do have questions, please let me know via email what information you might need to make your decision. I'll also be dropping a link in the chat box in just a second here so that you can schedule a Calendarly 15-minute meeting with me if you prefer to speak face-to-face instead of over email. So I just went ahead and dropped all the links I have mentioned throughout the presentation in the chat box, along with my personal email address. You should be able to see my email address and my Calendarly. And then I put our website, link to our general website and our certificate. And then the link for Jerry's course is in the chat box as well, and our OHS Facebook page. Please feel free to contact me with any additional questions about the program or our certificate. I'm happy any chance I get to talk with students. If you guys are interested in checking out our OHS Facebook page, I'm always updating the page with interesting news articles that are related to the field, as well as posting about upcoming courses. So it's a great way to stay informed if you are interested in the program. Like I mentioned, if email is not the best way for you to communicate, you can always reach out to me through the Calendarly link to schedule a Zoom meeting as well. They go by 15-minute intervals. So thank you all for coming today. Please remember to look in your emails for the coupon code so that you can get $100 off your first UC Davis CPE course. And I hope to see you all in our courses soon. Have a good day.